What's up, guys? It's me, Jamar. Hope you're doing great today, and welcome to the 11th episode of the Off My Chest Show. I can't believe it. 11 shows, and we got another treat. Last week we had our first guest interview. We have another dynamic, insane guest interview today, and the guy who I'm going to introduce I've known for a long time, and this guy is the co-founder of the People's Kingdom. It's like a merchandise fashion design line. He has shared the stage with influencers like Lecrae to talk about fatherhood and ministry, and he's been someone who's produced music for artists all over the world. I would like to welcome my good friend, mogul, the man, the myth in the flesh, Steve King.
Thank you so much. Hey man, that was an intro, man. You sold me on myself, man. That was great.
Look, man, I'm just a mouthpiece. And I'm still trying to grow and get better at it, but I just want to boost people up and give them a platform. So, bro, we've known each other for a long, long time, as I mentioned before, and I've known that you've been involved in a lot of different creative type things. I mean, you've produced for artists internationally. You produced for my brother. Heck, you produced for me. You've preached on big stages and spoke to folks about fatherhood and on forums on the internet and all sorts of stuff. Why did you settle on fashion and fashion design with the People's Kingdom? How'd that come about?
Wow. Well, man, honestly, contrary to popular belief, bro, like I'm an introvert and I don't really like talking.
Yeah.
When I do speak, especially as it pertains to like ministry, it's definitely out of obedience, right? Like I don't want to do it, but I understand that I got to be obedient. So, as that pertains to fashion and designing, honestly, bro, I think it allows me to say a lot without saying anything.
Yeah.
It just allows me to put on how I'm feeling, or an idea that God has given me and that He's placed on my heart to just kind of create. And we were created to create by the Creator. So
That's right. That's deep.
So I just want to take that idea and say, hey man, let me create a conversation without even initiating a conversation with words. So I think that's probably the ideology behind me being involved in fashion, or in designing. So that's man, that's just really why. That's the why. You know what I'm saying? To be able to connect with people without actually speaking.
Yeah, that's dope. So, what does the name the People's Kingdom mean?
So, long story short, right? Like, because this right here could be 2 hours. We not gonna do that. But the People's Kingdom came as my brother and I, my paternal brother and I, we connected when I moved out to Florida a few years back. We connected. We didn't grow up together, right? So I just met him like right before I got my master's degree from Grambling, right? Shout out Grambling State University, GSU. But when we connected, then there was a bond that was there. So then once I moved to Florida, he and I began to build our relationship and things like that. And he's very creative, very, very dynamic. That's somebody that I look up to. He's like a young OG to me, right? And he's only 2 years older than me. So, we've just been talking and been building, and we said, hey, let's create a collective. Like, let's do it together. Like, let's come together. And so we decided that the People's Kingdom was it. So it's a combination between my last name and his last name.
Okay.
And we combine them together. And the People's Kingdom is pretty much like a collective of people that come together. And we want to challenge them. Challenge them to take over their minds, like control their territory. Their territory is their mind. And so we're challenging that collective of people that want to join us to hold themselves accountable. Like it's not about what happens to you in life, okay? It's about how you deal with what happens to you in life. And so that's something that we felt like should be a foundation in our brand that we've created, and we're pushing forward, man. And that's what we're trying to push into society, bro.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Now, as far as just the People's Kingdom, how long has this been kind of a real brand that's been out there doing things?
So the People's Kingdom became its own entity in 2020, the beginning of 2020.
Okay.
But I have been involved in fashion and design 2012.
Okay.
So, and that just started off with, God just dropping ideas. Like I always would have like these clever thoughts, or just having a quick play on words, or a cool play on words that people would be like, that I felt like people would be like, that's catchy. Let me get that side eye up out of you real quick without me really having to say anything. So the People's Kingdom as an entity though began in 2020, just before the pandemic really hit us hard.
Okay. And when I first heard that you were starting the People's Kingdom, I was like, dude, that name is hard. Like that name is hard. I didn't know until like super recently that I think it was like 2 weeks ago that it was your last name and your brother's last name.
Yeah.
And I felt so dumb. But I was like, yo, that goes hard.
Yeah.
It goes hard. And so
kingdom, bro. Like the people's mind. Your mind is your kingdom. That's your territory. That's your land. You have to conquer your mind.
Yeah. I like it. It. Now, it seems like there's a lot of Christian or spiritual undertones or overtones with it. And the thing I really like about it is that with the People's Kingdom, you're not just like, oh, we're Christian. Okay. Like you're almost aggressive with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I got one of the shirts here, the devil shirt. It's aggressive. I've seen some other comic stuff where the devil is getting stomped. Don't be a Pharisee. So tell me a little bit about the spiritual background and why you have the type of kind of attitude with the whole the fashion, like with it being more of an aggressive and offensive versus defensive and passive.
Okay, so me personally, I grew up in the church.
Yeah.
Like I've been around it. Grandparents, bishops, my mother was, MD, played keys. I grew up playing drums, like in the church, like the whole nine, right? Yeah. Like I've seen it, I've experienced it all. And what I've come to realize is that sometimes people can be so churched that they don't get God. They just miss God in it. And so that is one of the things that, just kind of pushed me away. And I went far, far, far away from God. You know what I'm saying? As I grew up, got out of the house and got on my own, I just had to live, So in that, as I made my rounds on back to God, it was like, yo, you can still be yourself. You can still be who I created you to be. You just got to live for me. You just got to put out a different type of message. And so with as it pertains to TPK, one of the collections that we have is Don't Be a Pharisee.
Yeah.
The Pharisees were, the people back in the day, they were just, on a high horse. And they, they were just the holier than thou type of people. And they would go around and just beat people. And they even stoned Stephen, ironically enough. I'm Stephen, right? But they, ironically enough, stoned Stephen in the Bible, for preaching the gospel. And we encourage people not to be a Pharisee, because in that you'll push people away.
Yeah.
Because the Pharisees, they actually question God. They, in the flesh, like, they question Christ. And it's like, yo, how you gonna question the word with the word? Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? So, that's one of the things where I feel like if we just show people love, as opposed to, and I'm not gonna preach. I promise you I'm not gonna preach, bro. But I feel like a lot of times people have been taught the word from a place of fear. As opposed to a place from love. And if we go out into the world and love on people, as opposed to trying to beat them over the head, like you see the design right here, it's like you see people beating up Jesus. Like, you go beat the word up. You know what I'm saying? With the word. It's like it looks crazy. It sounds dumb, and it is dumb. And so we don't want people to get caught up in formalities. Right. And so man, because everybody has their own walk, man. And then as it transitions over into the next collection that we have, like Holy Jedi is the Holy Jedi. Think about it, right? like the Holy Jedi. It's like, man, you're gonna question the word with the word, but he's gonna play a Jedi mind trick on you. Like he's really not gonna answer your question, but he's gonna answer your question. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So yeah, man. And then as it pertains to you saying aggression,
yeah.
the devil, bro. Like F the devil.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, if you know, you know. You know what I mean? And it raises eyebrows. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
people will look at it and be like, whether you're a believer, whether you're not, whether you're Christian, whether you're a different, have a different religious background or
yeah.
anything like that, you can identify with what the devil is.
Right.
And F it. Like F the
Yeah,
devil. You know what I'm saying? Like the devil could be so many different things, and he operates in so many different manipulative ways. And it's just like, man, when you see something and you know it ain't no good for you, hey, F the devil, man, I'm over here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's
so
good.
yeah, bro. It's
That's
just
good.
definitely, I just wanted to take an aggressive, it's kind of passive aggressive because I'm not really saying anything, but it's aggressive because I'm saying a whole bunch,
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, that's the MO, bro, is to really just reach people without necessarily having to do a whole bunch of talking. It
yeah,
creates conversation. This is like this can start a relationship, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying, or a friendship or anything like that, and just create conversation and people
Yeah.
having dialogue, and that can be an entryway into ministry. So
Man, you said a lot there. You said a lot. I think that's I think very wise. I remember when I was in college and we would go out and we would evangelize, and that was good. Some people got exposed to the gospel for the first time.
yeah,
But I guess for me, I was kind of very methodical in sticking to a script and being really upset when someone didn't accept Christ. And it was like, you know, I, I didn't get it till years later that establishing a relationship and just being a Christian every day, what I'm saying, 24/7 when I'm not supposed to be witnessing, so to speak. I
yeah,
might be doing some homework in the library, or, when I'm just doing my thing. That really, in some cases, to some people, is more impactful, and that leads to a conversation. So
for
I
sure.
think that what you said is powerful. Now, you mentioned the pandemic and how the business got started right around the time the pandemic kicked off.
Yeah.
Um, how has that impacted the people's kingdom, and what challenges, I guess, because of the pandemic, did that bring about to the people's kingdom?
So there are goods and there are bads. There's a balance in between it. On the bad side, like God put the world in a timeout, right?
Yeah,
And so we had to go in the corner as a world and try to figure out if we learned our lesson or not. So that means with us being in a timeout, I couldn't really do the pop-up shops. I couldn't go out there with the merch.
yeah,
We lost a year,
yeah,
and right as it was getting warm, right?
yeah,
It's like people gonna be out, festivals and all types of vendor events and things like that.
yeah,
And so in that aspect, it was a downside.
right,
However, people were at home,
yeah,
people were on the devices. So then it was like, okay, let's tap in with social media more. Let's
yeah,
market a little bit more. Let's promote on the socials and connect with people, and create a website so
yeah,
people can have access and things like that, man. So from that, man, it's been cool, and I haven't been stopping wearing the stuff. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So it's like as I've been creating and wearing stuff, I'm like, hey, where you get that from?
yeah,
Whether it's just a run to Walmart or to Target because they got
yeah,
better pushing carts. It's just that's like, so if you're out and about and people see your shirt and like, hey, that's nice. It's like, hey, man, let me shoot you the link real quick. Boom. And that's it's like it's witnessing from my walk. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Without being a Pharisee and preaching, it's just like, no, check me out. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Boom, boom, boom. So, man, it's been a good balance, but as things are starting to open back up now,
yeah,
I could definitely see a shift with TPK,
yeah,
and I pray that it's going to be in the right direction. I see it moving in the right direction,
yeah,
as we just continue to just witness from our walk. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying, and just talk with the T. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So,
I got you. I got you. That's dope. Now, shifting gears just a little bit, if my memory serves me right, People's Kingdom is your second fashion merchandise line.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what happened to your first project?
So, wow, flashback again. Like I said, back in 2012, um, just serving in ministry and just kind of shaking and moving. God just downloaded certain things into my brain,
Yeah.
And one of those things that he told me, he was just like, man, look, bro, like, because at that time it was just like I was in a space where I was hotboxing.
Yeah.
And I was in the car and I was getting faded. I was just like, all right, man. And God spoke to me and was like, hey, famo, like, like, yo, like, if love is a drug, God is dope. I was like, whoa, am I tripping? Am I like, that's high? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's high. And he was just like, no. Listen, like, if love is a drug, God is dope. Like, I'm the only drug that you need, bro. Like I'm love. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, people are preaching from fear as opposed to out of love. And so it's like, no, you'll be able to catch more fish, so to speak, out of love. And so in that moment, that's something that stuck. Like, I mean, right away, like I went and recorded, I made a beat and I recorded a hook to it, and it was, yeah, man. Like I was like, yo, okay, God is dope. Like God is dope.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then I went ahead, started slanging the shirts, got a design printed, got the shirts up, was on campus, just moving the shirts, like just slanging the shirts, man. It's spreading, throughout Grambling State, Louisiana Tech, ULM, just that whole I-20 in Louisiana, man.
I-20.
I-20 just shaking and moving. And then of course there are so many people that were there on the campus from all over. Like, so people would get shirts and then they would go back home to California, or they'll go home to New York, or they'll go home to Detroit or wherever they were from. Like people would get stuff and they would go back to where they're from. So then the word started to spread out a little bit more.
Yeah.
And so that was my first, that is, not was, but is, because I'm still pushing God is dope. So that is the federally registered trademark that I'm the primary owner to.
Okay.
So I registered that trademark officially with the USPTO back in 2014. And just in that, man, a lot of things were happening, just with myself, my family, my wife, her health, my personal health. Just a lot was going on. And so, man, like, so God is Dope was my first brand that I created. Now, there are a lot of people out there that may be confused about who the original creator is about that. I don't want to speak into too much detail about it, but at the end of the day, this is public information where you can go and look this up at the USPTO, that, Steve King, registered his trademark prior to another company out there that, is using my trademark.
Right.
And some people have been confused and have been calling me and texting me over the years. I'm just like, yo, like, is this you, man? Congrats. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold on now. Hold on, this ain't me, but I had so many different things that was going on in life where it was like I couldn't really put all of my focus into that.
Right. As far as like getting the rights or whatnot back.
Yeah. No. It wasn't even that. I never lost rights because I never lost my rights. Like I was always using it. I was always, pushing it out, or I would use the hashtags like God is dope. Like I started that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was saying God is dope back in 2011 and 2012.
That's right. I remember that.
Yeah, like people were like, oh snap, that's hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, I guess people would take stuff and just, go here, there, everywhere, work and kind of spread. And then, some people may catch wind of something and feel like hey man, let me take this and let me run with this. You know what I'm saying? It's not big. It's not a big thing yet. So let me take it and let me do my thing with it, whatever.
Right.
But again, I don't know. Hopefully we can get all of that stuff sorted out, here in the very near future, man, as my health has begun to increase, and my strength has begun to increase, and just man, I mean, cancer survivor, you know what I mean? So praise God for that. But again, man, like the battle is not yours, it's the Lord. So I'm gonna just let God, the real God, do what it is that He do. I've had to acquire an attorney, and we're gonna be looking to it. We'll be looking into it to seeing what we need to do in order to make this situation right, and to clarify for the people that are confused about it. You know what I mean? So
sure.
yeah, man. But that God is dope was my first ever clothing brand idea type thing, man.
Yeah.
And in that, man, it's transitioned me into the Don't Be a Pharisees and the Holy Jedis and the F the Devils, and just going through life. God will download certain things into me, and it's like, okay, now you just got to store them well, man, and just just go with it, bro.
Okay, I want to talk about the cancer thing. I was not expecting to, but as you were talking and right before the interview, I was like, I wonder if he'd be okay talking about that. Because I don't think enough people know about that. But just to circle back about the trademark. So you own the trademark. Coincidentally, I was looking for trademarks and stuff for some project I was working on like 2 years ago. And I guess I was at lunch at work. And I was like, let me just type in God is dope. And sure enough, I scrolled down, Steve King. And it had the date when it was filed. I was like, that dude's it's there. You know what I'm saying? So how did you find out? I mean, I couldn't imagine going through all that. How did you find out that your idea was taken and stolen, really?
Man, people were hitting me up, man. And I was just like, wow, like how do I like let people know about the rights that I have? Like, I own it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I own this. And it's like somebody going in your house and you on vacation or something like that, but you only gone for a little bit of time. Like, or you're not even on vacation. You just go to the store and you got somebody coming in squatting like, hey, I'm gonna just kick off my shoes and relax and make me something to eat and eat good, and it's like no, man, like, hold on. And so in that, man, it was, man, crazily enough, it was like I got an email from an attorney and they told me, it was like, hey man, like this came across my desk. Man, you might want to look into this. Like, so I was like, oh snap, like, oh, okay. And it's more detailed things that I don't really want to go into, but there were things that came up where it was like, oh snap, like, yeah, man, these are my rights, and I can enforce, I can enforce this because I own it. You know what I mean? And so, man, like I said, bro, like we've had to acquire an attorney, and we're actively going to be pursuing some sort of solution for the matter at hand. And this, I just feel like it's only right. Especially when you're using God's name in the mix of it. It's like, bro, if you really want to do right, if you really want to use God's name and market and sell and all of this stuff to people, and that it's not yours, like, come on, man, like, let's just make it right. Like, I don't want to attack you as a person or anything like that, but from a business perspective, like, God gave me this idea. There was a reason that He gave me this idea to trademark it. I obeyed Him, and it's like, okay, cool. Like, I trademarked it. Now, God knows I ain't have it like that because I was in grad school. I was broke. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still broke, but you know what I'm saying? But it's just a different type of hunger. You know what I'm saying? But man, just kind of looking at the whole situation, bro. It's just like, man, like it's no hard feelings towards anybody. Let's just make it right. You know what I'm saying? Like God is a just God, right? So if we're gonna push God, let's do what's just and let's do what's right, and credit and compensate the owner, the real owner. So
I could only imagine as the years went by, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 16, 17, and that brand just took off. And I could only imagine how it would have felt, It's like, dude, like that's my slogan. Because I see folks out here in Mississippi wearing them, like not today. You know what I'm saying? Like I saw a couple of weeks ago, I saw somebody in Walmart. So like people are still rocking those joints. And it's just like,
Yeah, for sure.
hey. So
Yeah,
that's
man. You know, and it's crazy because, you know, people are rocking my joints though. And so
that's
people
right.
will see that and then they'll see them. And it's like, hold on. Like,
Yeah.
where can I get that from? And it's
Yeah.
like, fam, that's not on their side. That's mine. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So again, man, it's just a whole bunch of confusion, a whole bunch going on, man. But you know, I'll just stay prayed up, man, and hopefully we can rectify the situation as quickly and as simply as possible.
Yeah.
And you know, just move forward. Because
Yeah.
again, man, that's I have other ideas as well that I want to
Yeah.
get out, but I just want to make sure that we do right by the one that I own and that's being used.
For sure. For sure.
Unauthorized.
Now, what would you say is the biggest lessons that you've learned having to go through, your ideas being taken? Like, what are the biggest lessons that you've learned out of all the whether the legal process or whatnot?
Man, patience. Um, I would definitely say patience, man. Anytime you're dealing with anything legal, it's not going to be an overnight process.
Yeah.
Trust the process. Protect yourself. Protect your ideas for all the creatives out there that are watching this, that are tuned in. Protect all of your creative ideas. Like this is your property. This is your mental real estate, intellectual property.
Yeah.
Protect it. Okay. Like just make sure you're not gonna leave the house with the door unlocked or the door wide open
Yeah.
and just say, hey, I'm gonna go. Like, no, you are going to secure the premises. Okay. So make sure you secure your mental premises.
Yeah.
Go through the USPTO. Like if you truly believe in something, please make sure that you're going through the necessary steps. It doesn't take long to trademark ideas. If you're not comfortable with it, hire an attorney to do it for you. You can honestly do it yourself. If you want to hit me up, I can do it for you for a small fee. But no, in all seriousness though, just protect yourself, protect your ideas. If you really believe in something, bet on yourself. Like that's a form of betting on yourself by protecting yourself, protecting your ideas, because you never know where that may lead. So that's another lesson that I learned just kind of going through this process and being in the middle of the process. I'm still learning patience, just stuff got put on hold with COVID and everything like that for me being able to make necessary moves and things like that. But man, honestly, just protection, patience, and prayer. Wow, I didn't intend to go into like three P's, But honestly, man, like that's the real thing, man. It's like I had to go before God and lament, like really just like grieve and mourn, like God, man, like come on, God, like hey, man, this don't feel good, God. Like I'm feeling like the prophet Jeremiah, like I'm just God, like yo, God, like you see me down here, like come on. So just praying and just trusting that God's will be done. And the battle's not yours, it's the Lord's. You know what I mean? So this mindset of the Lord. So, that kind of keeps me grounded.
That's good.
Well, man.
Yeah, I could imagine a lot of folks would just kind of really get lost in depression. And it's, just watching your journey over the years, it's like, dang, this dude's patient. I don't know how many more folks that be more patient than Steve. And I believe it's going to pay dividends. And I definitely want to check in when all the stuff is finalized. Because I think you told me a little earlier before the show started that COVID kind of came in and just put a big pause on a lot. And so now that you guys are getting, back going, I'm really excited to follow, and I want to, update the audience, and just so people could see, like, look, like if you do things right, like, God will bless you, and, he's not going to let his get shamed by folks who aren't doing the right thing. So
and just another quick tidbit, bro. Like God just placed this on my heart, man. Like obedience is better than sacrifice. We've heard that a trillion times, but that does not mean just because you obey that you still won't have to sacrifice.
That's good.
People feel like, oh man, obedience is better than sacrifice. Like, I'm gonna just obey God. I'm gonna just obey God. It's like, no. Hold on, baby. Let me talk to you for a second. You still gonna have to sacrifice.
That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying? Like I obeyed God and trademarked it. It said, okay, I'm gonna trademark it. However, comma, I was broke. So I had to sacrifice. You feel me? And so it was like I had to do both of them things. You know what I mean? But no, man, like just for everybody that's tuned in, like, no, like obedience is better than sacrifice, but you still may have to sacrifice. Like God ain't no micromanager. You got to put in some work. Okay, you're gonna have to put in the work. You're gonna have to sacrifice. But that's why you just got to stay in communion with Him. You know what I'm saying? And stay tapped in, so you know how to move. You know what I mean?
That's good.
Throw that out there, bro.
That's good, because when you think about it, Christ, He didn't want to be sacrificed. You know, He didn't want to go on the cross. He prayed, Garden of Gethsemane. He's like, look, if you could take this away from me, but if it's your will, I'll do it. And Christ was obedient, but He still had to go and be
He still had to sacrifice. You feel me? You feel me?
That's
like,
right.
Come on, man. So,
but at the end, He got the blessing and reward for doing both. And I think that's powerful. I think that's powerful that you reminded us of that. Now, if you had to give somebody advice, I guess you kind of covered this one, but let's just say you're talking to a 20-something-year-old, right? Your 20-year-old self of you or whatever. And whoever was like, yo, I want to get involved in, clothing, fashion, merchandise, what would you tell them as far as just some things to think about when getting into that creative space, if you haven't mentioned it already?
With hindsight being 2020, I would definitely suggest that you create your LLC or some formal business.
That's good.
Do that to protect yourself. Again, we want to always make sure that we're protecting ourselves.
Yeah.
Create an LLC, trademark, copyright, patent your ideas, whatever you have on the table. They're all different. I don't want to go into too much detail. I ain't a lawyer, but I feel like I could be one after, going through what I'm going through, whatever. But protect yourself. Do it under that business. That way you're, again, protecting yourself. And man, honestly, just connect with people.
Yeah.
Like, because they're gonna be the ones to buy it. Like, you don't necessarily have to have a story, but it helps. Like something to connect with people. Like, if something looks dope, that's cool, but what does that mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, some people just be coming up with stuff, and it's no shot to anybody at all. But it's like, what is the meaning behind it? Like, okay, that's cool. Like, this means something to you for sure, dope. But is this gonna mean something to them or to that person, to the masses? Like what does that mean? Where's the storyline? Where's the connection point? So just think the thoughts all the way through. And this is something that I'm working with too, because as a creative, I sometimes have a creative ADD, and I'll be like, oh, I got this idea right here. Oh, I got this idea right here. Oh, I got this idea, and it may not be the best idea. Timing. Kairos versus Chronos. God's timing versus our timing, and understanding you can't force the issues. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean be a procrastinator. Yeah. But at the same time, you have to make sure that you're moving at a steady pace and moving with wisdom and moving with discernment and knowing when is a good time to pull the trigger and when is a good time to just say, let me put it back in the holster and let me sit on it for a minute. Yeah. Keep this in the chamber for the future. So, yeah, man.
That's good advice. For your company, what would you say your vision is for the future? Like, is it different types of merch? Is it like what is it?
Wow. The People's Kingdom is not just clothing. Although we will use that as a conduit to serve the purpose. Yeah. But we want to, get into, books and film even. Yeah. Like, my life has been a movie. My wife's life has been a movie. Yeah. Like the real kind, and, as things begin to develop and progress, as we connect with people, maybe the opportunity will come, if it's in God's will, that we can get it and branch off into those different avenues and those different areas of just being creative. Again, we were created by the creator to create. And so I want to make sure that I'm stewarding the talents that he's given me. So when my expiration date is up, he'd be like, boy, you fool. Like, you wicked. Right? Like, I ain't trying to be called wicked when I check up out of here. You feel me? So, man. So I can honestly feel like, with the collective of TPK, man, it's just to continue to really just get the word out there in a way that both believers and non-believers can gravitate towards and actually receive the word from an authentic standpoint. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who's going around saying F the devil? You know what I mean? Like, nobody's saying that. Like, and that's why I trademarked it and I protected it, because nobody was saying it, so, just, don't be a Pharisee, well, whatever. But again, it's just to be able to connect with people, man, and being an open book. So, contrary to popular belief, like I said before, and you may not believe me now, I really don't like talking. And I just feel like, God didn't bring me through what he did to stay silent. You know what I mean? And so being able to share my story for his glory, you know what I'm saying, in an unconventional way. Like, I know the formalities, I know protocols, I know all of that stuff as it pertains to, the faith and, things like that and religion. But man, like, whether it's the pulpit or whether it's the projects, like, I want to be able to connect to people and share my story. If you want to impress people, man, tell them about your successes. If you want to connect with them, tell them about your struggles. You know what I mean? And so that's the goal for TPK, man, is to challenge people and just to hold people, hold yourself accountable. Like, let's hold one another accountable and say, all right, what are you doing to get better today? What have you done to get better today? You lacking. Oh, okay, cool. But you need to get better. You know what I'm saying? That's what TPK is about, man, is encouraging people to really just take over their minds and be everything that they were created to be. So
okay, that's a pretty well thought out vision for the company, and I'm gonna be just watching it grow and watching in the theaters and watching, opening my ebook and all that kind of stuff. I'm looking forward to that. Now, you mentioned a little earlier that you had experience with cancer. Can you touch on that just briefly, if it's all right? Can you share just a few
I'm an open book
about that experience?
No, for sure, man. So, like, I ain't one for the doctor, right? Like, I'm just not the one, And my wife is like, bro, you ain't been to the doctor in a minute, fam. Like you run a lot and you lift and all this, but you ain't been to the doctor, so you need to go get checked out. So I went to the doctor for just a general checkup.
Wow.
And during that, they gave me like an EKG. And they, they saw it was like an irregular heartbeat, and they sat me up. I was like, oh, now, and so they sat me up. Then the doctor started moving around my neck and all of this. And then he said, I was like, what you mean, huh? I'm like, hold on now. Like, huh? And so then he started feeling around on my neck, and he felt a mass, in my throat. And then he ordered me to go get an ultrasound. And so after I got that ultrasound, they did see that it was a mass there. And then after I got the ultrasound, they told me to go get a biopsy to make sure that, just to confirm whether it was cancer or not. I got my results back, and, they told me I had cancer. It was crazy because they called my wife's phone. I remember this like it was yesterday. So they called my wife's phone with the results. And they was like, is your husband around? So she put me on speaker because I was headed to a meeting fresh off of work. I had to go. And so I was rushing. And he was like, yeah, you want to hear your results? I was like, yeah, what's up, man? I'm going. She's like, yeah, so your test results came back, that you have, papillary thyroid carcinoma. So you got cancer. Wow. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I've been beating everything else in life, so I'm finna beat this. And she was like, okay. I was like, yeah, I gotta go to a meeting though. I'm not trying to be rude, but here. So I handed the phone right back to my wife. And like when I came back, bro, like I've never shared this story with anybody, bro. You're getting an exclusive. Like I don't know if you can like insert one of Clue's bombs like they do in the Breakfast Club or something like that. I just did it myself. But when I came back from my meeting, bro, like I came into the living room, right? I was sitting in the living room and oh, this is powerful. I was sitting in the living room and my body froze. 45 seconds, like 45 seconds, like I don't know. Like I was just froze, bro.
Yeah.
And I just started crying. I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
But I wasn't struggling for air.
Yeah.
And I just froze. I felt calm. I couldn't do anything but just cry. And it was like this feeling that was so euphoric, bro. And after that time, it was like my body just gave out. And it was like at that moment, God was like, I have my hand on you. Like I felt his touch. Like I got you.
Yeah.
And I just balled up. And my wife came out of the room and came to the living room like, you all right? Like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah. Touch my God. You know what I'm saying? It was so crazy, man. And just going through that whole process, it was just like, man, you know what? Like, F the devil. You feel me? Like, that's really where it kind of was birthed from the cancer. It was like, man, like there are various forms of cancer. Some may be mental cancer, some may be physical cancer, some may be emotional cancer, but the cancer is the devil. And it's like, yo, F the devil. Like, I'm gonna beat. That was my mentality when the doctor told me I had cancer. I was like, yo, I'm gonna beat that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not fighting for victory. I'm fighting from it. So like, no, what are we doing? What are we talking about? You know what I mean? So yeah, man, like that's just how I pushed through it, man. And I had to get my thyroid completely removed.
Wow.
And yeah, man, like it was the recovery was definitely weird. You know, I just felt my energy levels because the thyroid controls so much, like hormonally. You know what I'm saying? So I was up, down, all around. Still am sometimes, especially to this Georgia pollen. But yeah, man, God is good, bro. Like I'm cancer free.
That's
and
crazy.
you know,
Crazy,
I'm just, again, it's my story, but it's God's glory. You feel me?
I mean, I saw a picture, I think you posted it on Facebook of you in PostOp or something like that. And you didn't look great.
I didn't. I definitely looked horrible. I definitely was high on those drugs that they gave me. Hey, bro, listen. So the crazy thing is that, man, bro, they told, and I don't want to talk too much. You know what I'm saying? It's your shit, but at the end of the day, bro,
this is the platform for you to speak.
Hey, man, thank you, brother. But like after the surgery, they just let me just chill or whatever.
Yeah,
bro. They told me that I had died on the operating table, bro.
That's wild.
I checked out for over a minute.
That's crazy.
Surgery. Like I stopped breathing. I had checked out completely, bro. And they didn't tell me right away because they just wanted me to recover or whatever.
Yeah.
I was, thank you for telling me that, But it was just like, it was so, because I felt some type of way. I can't really describe it.
Yeah.
But when I came back I was just out of it. So there's the reason why I probably look like trash in the picture, like in the PostOp picture, But it was just like, wow, like
that's crazy.
Like yeah, for real, man. Like God brought me through that, man, just to tell people about His goodness. You know what I mean? Like there's more work to do. So it's more people to touch through the way that He has gifted me of just being creative. Bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, God definitely has a purpose for you. And I love the fact that, you have an encouraging spirit to where you can let people know, yo, like, if I can go through these things, then you can. You know what I'm saying? I think those are some of the best stories is, people being like, oh, well, you're this superstar and you're this person. Of course you can make it. But, yo, look, like when you hear somebody's story like yours, it's like, yo, I've went to hell and back and then back to hell and then dragged back. Like if I can do it, then you can make it. I love that story. I love it. So if people want to find out information about the People's Kingdom, more about the brand, or they want to buy it, I mean, like I said, I got mine done and I'm super proud. I've worn this out. I try to not, I'm gonna order some more because I hate like when stuff just like doesn't look new anymore. And so I wear them out, and then as soon as I get home, I put it away. I don't keep it on for the rest of the day because I want it to stay fresh as possible. To find out where to go to get more information or to buy something from you, where do they go?
Dope, man. So you can follow us on Instagram at _ the People's Kingdom. Also, tpkapparel.com.
Okay.
That's right, tpkapparel.com. And you please, when you go to the site, register your email, like, so you can stay connected with, the latest and greatest drops, the new collections and things like that. Whether we have, because we're going to be rolling out content as well.
Okay.
There will be content coming very soon. It may be up now. You never know, right? So there is, there's going to be content that will be on both, our social media platforms and on our website as well. So please, tpkapparel.com and _ the People's Kingdom. Yeah, man, like there are so many different things that are just kind of on the horizon. It's just kind of just bubbling, man. And I'm excited for it. I'm not going to speak on it, but I'm really excited for, what the future looks like.
Yeah.
I'm very hopeful for, the People's Kingdom, man. And just as we try to fulfill and pursue the vision, that was given to both my brother and I.
Yeah, that's dope. So, Steve, before we let you go, we certainly appreciate you having on the show. Is there anything that you want to get off your chest? It doesn't have to be about fashion. It doesn't have to be about anything. It could be politics, policy. It could be about news. It could be about current events. It could just be about family. Is there something that you wanted to get off of your chest?
Yeah. Love yourself. Love yourself. Like, that's something that I struggled with for a very, 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 very long time, because I just felt like I was weird and I never fit in.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, I want to fit in. I want to be a part of this. Or I want to, no. Now that I see it, what was going on, it's like I was being protected.
Yeah.
So in that, man, like I'm encouraging everybody that is watching right now to love yourself. Even if you love yourself, love on yourself more. And I know it sounds easy. And it sometimes, depending on, your upbringing and your circumstances and your experiences throughout life, it could be difficult to actually do that. But seek help, whether it's a friend, whether it's a therapist, whether it's a pastor, whether it's like, find somebody to talk to, and express yourself, and be okay with not being okay if you're not okay. If you are okay, you know what I mean? But again, embrace yourself, love yourself, take the time out every once in a while to love on yourself and to treat yourself, because at the end of the day, if you're not good for yourself, you're not going to be good for anybody else. And so I mean, as for me, like with my wife and for our son who's 15, y'all pray for me. But it's all about love. It begins with love. You know what I mean? Like, for God so the world.
That's
okay.
Right.
If it's a drug, God is dope. Love. You feel me? So
That's
it's
good.
like it begins with love. It ends with love. So love yourself. When you wake up in the mirror, look at yourself and speak words of affirmation into your life. Speak positivity into your life. And again, that's what the People's Kingdom is about. Is handling what happens to you from a place of love, accountability, and just power.
Yeah.
Because love is powerful, man. It's very powerful. So love yourself, and then loving everything else. they come a bit easier. But that's just something that I wanted to share with everybody, is just to make sure that you take the time out to love on yourself, man. Love on yourself. Okay. Love on yourself. Okay. Love yourself.
That's good, man. We appreciate you taking some time out to fellowship with us today.
Sure, for sure. Thank you for having me, bro.
Man, we pray for the future endeavors that you got. I will be watching from Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. But folks, please go and check out tpkapparel.com or check out the Facebook page and get some stuff, support the brand. This is obviously a Black-owned business. So for all those talk about, I want to support, this is a Black-owned business. He's a godly man. He is a family man. And he is one of the folks that I truly admire from a work ethic perspective, from a family man perspective. This dude preached before me, like 7 years before me. Like, there's a whole lot of things to admire about this guy. And you definitely want to invest your good hard-earned dollars into this company that he has co-founded. So Steve, thank you so much. We're going to have you back sometime soon to talk about something else, get updates on the company, unless, there's like a fee at that point, who knows, by the time, a couple of months from now, I might have to talk to a secretary or something.
Hey, man. She can send you through, bro. She can send you through, man. Send them through, no, man, absolutely, bro. Again, thank you for, sharing your platform with me, bro. Like, I don't take this light. You are actually the first person to ever ask me to be a guest on anything.
Hard to believe.
And maybe that's why I talked a lot, because I wanted to take full advantage, because, But no, man, thank you so much, bro, for, sharing the space with me, man, the stage, bro, the mic with me, bro, because I'm honored and I'm just privileged, man, to just call you my brother, man.
And we certainly do appreciate it. Steve King, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. I mean, heck of an interview, heck of a guy, heck of a company. Make sure you are checking out tpkapparel.com, their Facebook page, their Instagram page. Just hit up Steve King and find his Facebook page if you want. Get in contact with these folks, give them some business. They are quality. It is printed right here in the United States. They're good guys, good company, and they got a whole lot coming forth in the future. You definitely want to be part of that. So shout out to Steve for coming out tonight. So happy that he took the time out to converse with me. Before we go, as always, I'd like to give a little bit of encouragement. Today's encouragement comes from Proverbs 13:10. It says, "Where there is strife, there is pride, but wisdom is found in those who take advice." I believe that when you have wise counsel or godly counsel pouring into you, it's kind of like from a basketball percentage, you want to take high percentage shots. Well, when you have people that are surrounding you, providing wisdom and good input, then the odds are you're going to make much better decisions more often than not. So that's some timely advice, some good advice for me in particular. I think it's good advice for everybody. And so, yeah, I hope you guys have a great week. And look, if life starts getting you down, just say F the devil, all right? F the devil, keep walking in purpose, keep walking in love, and do what you were created to do. God bless y'all. Stay safe. We'll catch you next week. Peace.